Many thanks for joining in, everyone. This is Politics Today live on Channels Television this Friday. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Lagos, Nigeria. Let's begin with what has turned out to be a roller coaster Friday, politically speaking. To some, good news, and to some others, a bit of not so good news. Well, it's a day of judicial nemesis, if you may. There have been evictions in the National Assembly as the gavel of the Supreme Court falls on a senator and a member of the House of Representatives. The Supreme Court ruled that the senator representing Taraba North Senatorial District, Senator Abubakar Danladi, must vacate his seat immediately and refund all salaries and allowances he has received as a senator within 90 days. The court also declared Mr. Shoaib Lawal of the All Progressives Congress, APC, as a new senator representing Taraba North. Mr. Lawal had approached the Supreme Court to challenge the decision of the Court of Appeal that obtained his victory during the primary that he was wrongfully substituted. In the case of Honorable Hembe in the lower chambers, the Supreme Court also ordered that he should be replaced by Mrs. Dorothy Mato, who will now represent the people of Vadinkwa and Konshisha Federal Constituency of Benue State in the House of Representatives. Honorable Hembe has also been told to return all the salaries he received while serving as a lawmaker in the House of Representatives. It may be bad enough for them to be removed, but now how bad could it be for the court to now ask them to refund all the monies, perhaps some monies that they've spent? Well, let's get perspectives to all of these issues, legal and some legislative concerns right now. Joining me are two lawyers. One is a former member of the House of Representatives, Honorable West Idahosa, and Mr. Daniel Bwala. They join us from our Abuja studio. Gentlemen, what a good Friday is it for you. Thanks for coming on the program. Let me start from you, Honorable West Idahosa. This is not the first time we are seeing this, but why would someone be asked to refund the monies that he has spent, or the monies that he has gotten over the time when he's been struggling to get through the legal tussle?
Well, you know, this is a paradigm shift in the judicial literature for our country. We do think that the judiciary is trying to give some teeth to the provisions of the Constitution. You will remember that Section 70 of the 1999 Constitution, as amended, clearly provides that the allowances and salaries of members of the National Assembly shall be as prescribed by the National Revenue and Mobilization Commission. So it will mean that there is a constitutional efficacy to these allowances. Now, if the court rules that you are sacked and that you were never there in the eyes of the law, it will mean that you were never qualified to earn a kobo from the national coffers. Now, the judiciary is trying to discourage people getting to public office at all costs. And the only way to do that is to ensure that when you get sacked for usurpation of office, you have to refund every bit of it. And this is a big deterrent to everyone for future use, and to make sure clearly that desperation and recklessness in the political circle is grievously checked.
It's a bitter pill. You have served in the House of Representatives before. You know just how easy for you to cough out such an amount of money. For some people have said the kind of monies that the lawmakers in Nigeria get, some people have described it as obscene. That kind of money, how easy it is to refund that kind of humongous amount of money. If a lawmaker does not refund it as prescribed or as ruled by the court, what would happen?
Well, you know, at the level of the Supreme Court, there is nowhere to go. You are boxed in, and it is expected that you make that refund within 90 days, and then you show evidence of payment. It is expected also that non-compliance will amount to judicial contempt at the highest level. And of course, the Supreme Court will have a range of punishments, which of course could include imprisonment until you purge yourself of that contempt. That's an option, and I think it's a common option in enforcing judicial remedies. So I am sure that the problem will be, how will you get this money back, given that many of your constituents, well-wishers and others may have also participated in helping to make use of these funds. Well, that is the burden on easy lies the head that wears the crown.
It's interesting. Let me talk to Mr. Daniel Boala now. So he comes into this conversation. For you as a lawyer, how does this come to you when there's an election and there's been cases come up after the election over whether or not the veracity of the victory and all of that? And at this point, 2 years down into the mandate, the court says you're not the right person for the job and you're supposed to pay. What does this mean legally, of course, for the person who is coming into the office? Let's even leave out the person that has been removed now.
All right. Well, the age-long principle of the law, ubi jus ibi remedium, comes into play. Where there is wrong, there is remedy. Or where there is injury, there is remedy. Now, in the circumstance, the person who has been there in the eyes of the law, he was not supposed to be the person, because I recall the judgment of the Supreme Court is to the effect that the appeal committee decision of the party, which of course reach a finding in favor of Dorothy, is the decision of the court. And then the fact that at the time of election he was not qualified. Now, but the effect as far as equity is concerned is that there is a distinction between this kind of case and then the one you find in governorship election where, for example, the participant is an individual, and in the case of Obi versus INEC, where the Supreme Court held that the time of office starts counting from when he takes the oath. Now, if it were the same in the case of the National Assembly, then it will mean that there will be no need for the refund of the money, because in any way that Dorothy is going to spend 4 years. But the National Assembly is an assembly of session. Even if you obtain a judgment 2 days to the end of the National Assembly, 2 days later you are going to vacate. And so it is only necessary and equitable in the circumstance that what she lost in the 2 years that Mbe also was in the National Assembly should be given to her. But there is the other side to it in terms of the refunds. What if, these are questions that probably as we go on, the law will be developed to also cure situations like that. What if some of the monies that were given to him was used for constituency project? What if some of the money that was given to him was used for project that has directly affected the same constituency that she is coming or she is expected to affect? These are questions. Now, well, the decision of the Supreme Court is final, and he has to return it in 90 days. Whether or not he can meet up with that is another issue for the day. But the principle of the law is that where there is wrong, there is remedy. And in the circumstance, it is only right and equitable that she be given all the money that he has accrued for the number of 2 years.